Welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara O'Brien. The news this week: there have been numerous complaints about racism and bullying in the Big Brother house. Shilpa's relatives have received thousands of messages as they work in Channel 4's call centre in India. Jade is now officially the most unpopular goodie, breaking Bill Oddie's 30-year run. America is sending an extra 21,000 soldiers to Iraq, but questions are being asked about the apparently random nature of their foreign policy. Last week they bombed Mogadishu after George Bush sneezed during a briefing. This week, England and Scotland celebrated 300 years of political unity. The relationship has been compared to a marriage. After so long together, the magic's gone out of it, and they're only staying together for the sake of the Welsh. In one of the biggest opinion polls ever carried out in England, people were asked if they prefer to be called British or English. An overwhelming majority replied Romanian. The preserved skeleton of the whale that swam up the River Thames last year went on display this week. The whale's post-mortem established the cause of death as dehydration, muscle damage and kidney failure, although Mohammed Al Fayed insists he was murdered by the royal family. Joining me tonight are six of the country's top comedy performers: Andy Parsons, Mark Watson, Russell Howard and Frankie Boyle, Hugh Dennis and Ian Stone. Welcome to the show. Our first round is called Headliners. Here's a picture of David Beckham and his lovely wife Victoria. But what does the DBPB stand for?
Is it Desperate Bulimic's Pointless Boyfriend?
Does Beckham piss banknotes?
That would be a fantastic act. Of course, you need a question mark, really, but it's just a game.
Yeah. Is it dabbles behind Posh's back? Or is it just didn't bother packing Brooklyn?
Is it something about a payday bonanza or something?
I'd like to have a crack at this. Is it David Beckham's payday bonanza?
It's a good guess, but no, it's not. It's David Beckham's pay bonanza. Hugh was the closest, brother. Hugh. Right. Yes, it celebrates the former England captain's impending move to American club LA Galaxy. Beckham hopes to raise the profile of football in America, as well as earning close to £130 million over 5 years, or £70,000 a day. Are we all really happy for him?
Yeah.
We've all done stuff for money. My brother ate some dog food for 20 quid.
It's hardly a payday bonanza, though.
It's 3 years old.
What they're saying is that he only gets £5 million for playing football, and the rest is image rights and all the rest of it. And they're saying the reason he's getting most of the money is because he will appeal to the Hispanic market because he can speak Spanish. He can barely speak English.
The best thing about this, though, it just gives old people an opportunity to wax lyrical about the old footballers. My granddad was brilliant, and he always invents players, I'm sure of it, but he was there the other day just kind of go, David Beckham, he's bloody... I tell you what, never as good as Will Flangleberry. Will Flangleberry, he was so good, he scored 81 goals in a game. So poor, he lived in a kettle. He used to eat nothing but gravel, and he was still better than bloody Beckham. You're just trying to win the argument.
Is there an element that this entire story just proves once and for all that this country hates success?
Exactly.
You cannot handle somebody having a perfectly nice retirement gift of 130.
It's not we hate successful morons. We really like successful people who develop cures for diseases and stuff like that. That's great.
So if the story was Stephen Hawking signs for LA Galaxy for 130.
It's a shame, though, because really good players Paul Scholes is probably going to end up fighting pigs for a living when he's old. Do you know what I mean?
What's that? Stephen
How is that possible?
He'll have no money, do you know what I mean? Or someone...
Why are we under pressure just because Paul Scholes is quiet, that he's frittered all his cash away on Findus crispy pancakes or something?
Apparently he spent it all desperately trying to find a cure for gingerness.
There's not enough money in the world.
It's called Scholes' Folly. This entire research project here, which is just there to cure Scholes' gingerness.
It's vulgar. It's not just a lot of money. It's nearly 130 million. Plus, the season doesn't start till April, so until then he can claim unemployment benefit.
I'm not jealous of all of Beckham's money. He has still got to listen to her singing in the bath. And I'm thinking, I bet Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes are regretting say, come and stay. They weren't expecting 5 years, were they?
Why is Tom Cruise befriending him? That's what we've got to ask ourselves.
to get him into the movies.
Why would someone who's a Scientologist, who's in a religious cult, want to befriend a rich, gullible idiot? We have to say that we don't know. Yeah. We have to say that we don't know for legal reasons.
How did he describe Tom Cruise during the week?
A very wise man.
Very short.
No, he wasn't short.
A very wise man.
Very wise man.
Apparently, though, Tom Cruise is level 7 Thetan for the Scientology Church. And apparently, right, there's various levels, and you get to level 3, and you learn the big secret, which is apparently that 75 million years ago, an evil galactic warlord called Xenu got 13.5 trillion aliens from various different planets, brought them back to Earth, put them in volcanoes, vaporised them, and their radioactive beings now inhabit our souls. Two things in this, right? Firstly, right, imagine, right, having spent many years and a huge sum of your own wealth to find out that pile of horseshit, right? And secondly, imagine Tom trying to explain that to David Beckham.
I think Cruise just does it to fill his time because he's finished as an actor. Mission Impossible 3. The fact you can have it Mission Impossible 3 suggests he can do these missions, really. It's really just mission quite tricky, but he'll do it.
Is anybody worried about Posh in this whole thing? I mean, the fact is Posh is going to turn up in LA, and we've seen the women in LA. They're even thinner than her. Well, she's going to turn up at the airport and go, gosh, she's let herself go, hasn't she? She must be, 6.5 stone, fat cow.
On a slightly more serious note, what else has been going on across the pond? What's been the big story in America?
There's a new surge, isn't there, here? George Bush has decided to send in more troops to Iraq because that's going to cure the problem.
I'd like to wait to Iraq as if it's actually... Well, at what point was it actually being called something else?
It's official
What Bush said in his statement is he said that these soldiers, 21,000 of them, will be sent to Iraq, and part of it, they were calling, to gain the trust of the Iraqi people, they will be calling door to door on the Iraqi people. That's what really? 21,000 troops doing trick-or-treat.
It's like democracy with a gun, isn't it? It's just so they go, right, you can vote. Not for that one! That's the one you vote for! Yeah.
It's that thing where, you know, the Americans say that they're losing the battle for hearts and minds, but then you look at Iraq on the news and there seem to be hearts and minds all over the place. The real trouble seems to be wiping the hearts and minds off the windshields. Are there any marketplaces in Baghdad that haven't been blown up? That's got to be doubly galling, hasn't it, that you're living under constant mortar fire and it's really difficult to get fresh veg.
And obviously with Saddam Hussein and when they hung him, and they should have just let him go for a laugh, I think. I think they should have let him out, gone off, you go, Saddam.
Do you think they should have put the thing on his head?
Yeah, and then shoved him out
spun him 4 times. And then pushed him out. Closer to home, what has Gordon Brown been doing this week?
Hasn't he been pretending that he's not Scottish?
Yes, he has.
He's been made English Prime Minister.
Yes. That's never been in a nutshell, that's exactly what he's been doing.
He might as well just do a party political broadcast where he smashes a haggis to bits with a cricket bat.
In terms of celebrating great days, what great days, of course, are we supposed to be celebrating?
The Act of Union.
300 years of the Act of Union.
300 years.
And how is it being celebrated?
So commemorative £2 coin.
it is, yeah.
Which is funny, really, because if you try and spend Scottish money in this country, you may as well try and pay with a piece of cheese.
Really strange.
What the English don't know is that for many years we have actually secretly been at war with England, and what you think are tramps are actually reconnaissance. And we've got a lot of reports in. We've so far learned that London is awfully cold.
It was on telly the other day, I was watching it, and it was about having an English Parliament, and 60% people said they wanted it, 30% didn't, 10% said they didn't know, which implied that 10% of people had rang up to kind of go, yep, no, don't know. Just nice that my opinion matters, thank you very much.
You've got to feel sorry, haven't you? You've got to feel sorry for Gordon Brown. He's waited 10 years for Tony Blair to piss off, and then, just as he's going to get Prime Minister, it seems that Scotland, in his own constituency, is going to piss off as well.
That would be the funniest thing in the world if Tony Blair, as his last act, before he handed over to Gordon Brown, released the Scots. Signed out the Union. And again, that round of points go to Russell, Mark and Andy. The next round is called Between the Lines. It features Hugh and Frankie. Would you make your way to the press pit? In this round, one of them takes on the role of a person in the news addressing the media, while the other translates what they really mean. Frankie, you are Prince Charles making a New Year address to the nation. Hugh, you will tell us what he really means.
My loyal subjects, my homies, my bitches. I'm proud to say that Harry will be serving in Iraq. I'm sure that he will find a useful role to play.
3 miles behind the other troops, in a sealed titanium war bubble.
I do hope that he doesn't get shot.
How will I break the news to his father?
William, meanwhile, seems to have found a girl that he's in love with.
So now he can marry someone else and keep her as his bit on the side.
Tabloids are desperate to get hold of saucy pictures of Kate.
I got some.
It was good to see Helen Mirren winning a Golden Globe. I thought she did a wonderful performance as my mother.
I've been having some very confusing dreams.
I took Camilla to India recently, and the locals who saw us were amazed.
I thought, blimey, Diana's let herself go a bit.
Surely it is now time that Diana was laid to rest.
After all, it's nearly 10 years since we had her killed.
My sons were both very upset at the time.
He kept on asking why I smelt of brake fluid.
Well done to Hugh and Frankie! Now we play a round called Spin on This. This game involves Ian, Andy, Frankie and Russell. So if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This is our stand-up challenge, our random news generator with a bank of topics. We spin the wheel, and when it stops, anyone can step forward and try to make us laugh with the subject it's landed on. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel for the first topic. OK, the first subject is street protesters. Can I have a volunteer talk about that?
I'll do that, Dara. Nation. So, I love street protesters, they're fantastic. The best I saw, there's a lovely old lady who, since the war in Iraq started, she stands outside the Bristol Hippodrome with a big sign that says, "Toot if you're anti-war." And if you drive past her and go, "Ha," she does this. Now, I'm not sure, I've made her leap many times. I don't know if I'm anti-war or really pro-pensioner leaping. You know, when you kind of go, "Why am I doing this? Ha, stop it, ha, do it." They're everywhere, they're brilliant. There's a bloke I saw the other day, you know, one of those religious godbotherers, it's fantastic, just with a loud hailer, just pointing at people around it, "You're going to hell, you're going to hell, you're going to hell." Everyone was freaked out, too goth delighted, that's a separate issue. But he pointed at me and I was freaked out, and then he did something wonderful. He pointed at this really strutting black guy. I don't know why the fact that he's black made it cooler, but it really did, right? Pointed at it, went, "You're going to hell." Without missing a beat, this bloke just went, "No, mate, HMV." And he just sat there going, "Oh, oh."
Well done, Russell Howard. OK, let's spin the wheel again. The subject is extreme fundamentalism. Ian.
You're saying extreme fundamentalism?
Yeah, the fundamentalism on a skateboard. If you could do that, that'd be great.
Yeah, it's basically extreme fundamentalists burning American flags. Where do they get them, by the way? Where do they get them? We don't see it, you know. As soon as they turn the cameras off, someone's there going, "Put it out, for goodness sake. I've only got 2 left. Use the asbestos flag, like I said." I think some Jewish bloke's got a big warehouse in the Middle East, don't you? Yeah, business is business.
Well done, Ian Strong. That leaves it with Frankie and Andy. The next topic is political correctness. Who would like to go? Frankie!
Now, political correctness has changed everything. People forget that even political correctness itself used to be called spastic gay talk. It's not politically correct to say don't give money to charity. I mean, we might want to give money to Africa, but money takes no account of cultural difference or the reality of those people's lives. If you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. If you give him a fishing rod, he'll break it up for firewood. Or swap it for a fish.
Thank you, OK, Andy, let's see what you've been left with. It's health. Away you go.
Now, once again, they've been having a go this weekend about skinny models, saying that they give us a bad body image. Now, I'm not sure we're quite that insecure, are we? You know, I see a skinny model, I don't think, "Oh, I better go on a diet." I think, "Oh, there's a skinny model, I bet they're hungry." I I think I'll have a pie.
And at the end of that round, points for both teams. Give it for both teams. This round is called If This Is the Answer, What is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Ian, which category would you like?
I'll have crime, please.
Okay, your category is crime. The answer is gun runners, robbers and murderers. What is the question?
Is it, what is the largest entry in the Baghdad Yellow Pages?
Is it what was the less successful follow-up to Cher's Gypsies, Tramps and Thieves?
Is it, according to the Daily Mail, how should we categorise asylum seekers?
Is it war? What is it good for?
It is a matter, I'll give you a clue, it's a matter of records.
Oh, it's the Home Office thing then, isn't it?
It is the Home Office thing, yeah.
Is it what offences had been committed by British people abroad but then hadn't been registered on the database in the UK?
That's very close. That's very good. The question I was looking for was what kind of convicted criminals were missing from the police records after a Home Office bungle. This is the news that the Home Office have failed to update police records of Britons convicted abroad, leaving the perpetrators free to apply for jobs in Britain, which I presume you're always free to apply. You can apply, for God's sake. I am a murderer. May I work in your school? Well, no, but you can apply, yeah.
This is a joke, because, being a government is difficult, right? So there's difficult things in government. It might be hard to find the line between individual freedom and collective responsibility. They're messing up on data entry. Apparently 1 in 5 of our records are wrong, and if the Home Office say it's 1 in 5, it's probably about 3/4.
It's also slightly vague, the term Britons who have offended abroad. Presumably that includes people who've gone, "Oh, Manuel, give us another beer, por favor," in Greece.
Whose fault it is? It's John Reid, or as he's listed on the database, John Reeves. I hate John Reid. He looks like a bouncer at a bowling club.
It's only that he's had so many scales. There have been 3 or 4, haven't they? Yeah. But it's not surprising because the police are, the police are trying to do a good job, but they're a bit rubbish. I've only ever once been a victim of crime, which was when a flat I lived in was broken into.
Dun dun dun.
And I came home one day and the door had been knocked off its hinges. It was just splinters. And a policeman came round.
They literally took it and then they shredded it.
No, they didn't. As the policeman came round, I was standing in front of this door, which was half there, right? And the policeman had his notebook and he went, "So, sir, any idea how they got in?" They came in over the balcony, you twonk.
One of the problems that they had, wasn't it? It was last week's Home Office problem, was apparently people absconding from open prisons. Now, I guess the problem there is the word open next to the word prisons.
It is not
Not only should you be allowed access to your own records, you should be allowed access to your own CCTV footage so that you can find out what you did on a Friday night. I knew I shagged someone.
The new CCTV footage, right? They can actually speak to people as well as see them. They can speak to them, and they're apparently going to use this to stop people littering. What a brilliant job that would be. You're there. Oi, pick it up. Hoodie board, this is God.
On a possibly more serious note, what does everyone think of the Big Brother race route?
I love the way that the viewing figures have gone up ever since the race.
Yeah.
People do love to tune in for a bit of racism. I'm going to get offended. I'd better have a watch of this one. Here we go.
And Big Brother, the producers are deliberately doing this. They may as well just have the voiceover guy going, "Day 3, Jade is a bigot."
Isn't the thing that basically we are at fault because as a viewing public we have over-promoted Jade Goody?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no point saying she's at fault because she's not fit to take any place in a civilised society.
Hang on a minute.
We're in the same situation as someone who's trained a monkey to be a butler. They're saying, "Oh, I trained him to be a butler, and instead of ironing my shirts, you know what he's doing? He's throwing shit at the walls." Yeah, he's throwing shit at the walls because he's a monkey.
It's a very powerful metaphor.
How great would it be if someone's just turned on at that moment with you? He's throwing shit at the wall because he's a monkey. What's coming next?
No, too much racism.
Oh, they're talking about Jade Goody again.
We've allowed Jade Goody's mum to have national television. If I was Jade Goody's mum, I would not be on TV. The only reality TV show I go on would be celebrities get sterilised for the good of the country.
By the way, it took a slightly more serious turn, I suppose, in the sense that we're now at war with India. We're not, but the makers of Big Brother are. So basically, Channel 4 and Endemol, the production company, are now, they were right, they burnt effigies saying death to the makers of Big, which is fantastic. Not death to the makers of Big Brother. And they can attack, presumably, on who knows when these people are going to appear. Like, at what episode of Deal or No Deal, another programme made by Endemol, they're going to go, what's in the box? Oh, it's a load of Indian men really angry.
Channel 4, I would make Deal No Better, wouldn't it?
It would introduce a genuine note of peril. Going, the box may contain a penny, or it may contain 50 grand, or it may contain the Tamil Tigers. One or two. Who knows who's going to be in the box?
Surely Channel 4 are going to be absolutely delighted that India is paying attention. It's going to be the biggest Channel 4 audience they've ever had, isn't it? It's gone from 3.5 million to 4.5 million. Soon, 1,100,000.
You know that next year they're going to have in the house Ron Atkinson, that ballerina.
Mitch Griffin.
And the Kumars. In one house together at last. It'd be great.
And Prince Philip, obviously.
Gordon Brown is currently on tour in India, wanting to talk about finance. Now his first question is, what do you think of Big Brother? He wouldn't have a clue.
He's forced to say, I think it's seriously damaged this country's standing in India. Before, they just thought that we stole their country and made them drink tea. Now we're the bad guys, suddenly.
Within the rules of the show, though, you know that they've no contact with the outside world bar the diary room, so they don't actually know this stuff. If they just all sat them down and said, OK, let's have a look at what's going on in the world, and then showed them like live footage of some part of like Delhi erupting in flames and Jade Goody being burnt by a giant crowd.
Imagine. Can you imagine the next time Jade Goody goes for a curry? Imagine being in that curry house. How fantastic would that be?
I'd still imagine being in the kitchen of the curry house when the order comes.
I always think that on one of the evictions they should have someone go out and just have complete silence in the house and then a single gunshot.
Ladies and gentlemen, give that round and the point to Ian, Hugh and Frankie. Now we come to our final quickfire round called Scenes We'd Like to See. This is for everyone, so if you can all make your way over to the performance area, please. I call it ideas for scenarios we'd love to see, and the performers come in with their suggestions. The first subject is unlikely lines to find in the Bible.
He's not the Messiah, he's a very naughty boy.
And God said, let there be light. Sponsored by Power Jam.
A man who lies with another man should be stoned. It helps, that's all I'm saying.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
And God said, right, that's the 14 commandments. Now, will you remember all those?
That's very good.
Table for 12, Jesus. I can do 2 6s at 8:30.
And on the 8th day, God created a magic talking leopard and forgot all about us.
And Mary said God had given her a child, so Joseph went and joined Fathers for Justice.
It rained for 40 days and 40 nights, although Thames Water still had a hosepipe ban.
St. Paul's third epistle to the Corinthians. Dear Corinthians, I've written to you twice now. No reply. I don't know how you do things in Corinth, but where I'm from, that's a bit rude.
OK, the next topic is, in the week in which the government discussed raising the school leaving age, bad things for a teacher to say.
Fight, 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 fight!
You know the rules, Thomas. If you forget your PE kit, I take the lesson in my pants.
I'm a gun runner, robber and murderer, but the Home Office think I'm clean.
Are you chewing, boy? This is the worst blowjob I've had all day.
I don't know the answer, Watkins. I just do this job for the holidays.
It turns out you're not dyslexic, you're just really, really stupid.
I've been at this school for over 40 years. I buggered your fathers and I will bugger you.
OK, at the end of that, ladies and gentlemen, the winners are Ian, Hugh and Frankie. That's the end of the show. This week's winners are Frankie Boyle, Hugh Dennis and Ian Stone. Commiserations to Andy Parsons, Mark Watson and Russell Howard. Thank you for watching. Good night.
More Mock the Week next Thursday at the same time. Tomorrow at 10 here on BBC 2, Nigel Havers reveals what he'd like to send to Room 101. And on BBC 3 now, the toughest challenge yet for the teenage couples in Baby Boys.